G'day, welcome to this episode. In this episode I am going to make a spray booth in this area here. Start by showing you what I'm going to actually do. It's not going to be a full spray booth, it's going to be a temporary spray booth, but that's all I need. I'll show you how I'm going to do that now. So let's get into it. Alright, so as you can see, after last week's episode, nothing's changed, but all the prep is being done. And yeah, basically it's time to create the spray booth inside this area here. So I've been going back and forth with ways to do it, but I have decided that I'm just going to seal these walls up here with some builder's plastic, 200 micron builder's plastic, so it's pretty thick. Yeah, as you can see, this is a mezzanine level, and you've got these areas up here running along the roof there. So what I'm thinking is I will hang some plastic on the outsides of these things here, and I'll probably either just tape them on or screw some 4x2 bits of timber there and then staple the plastic onto that. And then down on the ground, just tape it down on the concrete. Down, I've still got that sticky plastic down here. So I'll give the shed a good clean first. Get everything sorted, everything cleaned up and moved around, get these tables out of the way, and then I'll have a look at the best way to do it. But yeah, look, it's not rocket science. I'm not going to have a fan. I'm going to get an extraction fan from eBay. They're pretty much the only ones that you can get, that are half decent. Otherwise, you're looking at a commercial fan system running into about $1,000, and that would go really nicely here, probably up high. So you can get them. They're quite big. They're about, they can go anything from 60 centimetres in diameter to over a metre. And they're a particular spray booth fan that doesn't spark with paint fumes, and I know that when using 2-pack and stuff like that, it can be pretty dangerous if you've got exposed elements. So long term, the fan would go beautifully in there, and then we'd have potentially some extraction vents coming from the tops here, just so I could draw air, clean air in from inside this shed, and then we'll have a dust vent there as well. Yeah, so I did think about putting a frame so you can open this door here, build some kind of frame system that you could allow the fan coming in from here. But as you can see, there's a lot of dust outside there, so I'm not really wanting to do that. So I think if I don't get a permanent fan, with this eBay fan, I will literally just have it sitting on the ground, exhaust the, there's an elastic foil vent that you can hook up. So I'll just have that sitting outside the booth, the foil vent coming up high somewhere, and then coming out the door there. So, but enough of that. So we'll get straight into it and start cleaning up and start getting the plastic cut. Alright, a couple of days have passed. I've cleaned up the whole garage. I've managed to get it to a reasonable state of cleanliness, and I had to go shopping and get some gear to make this spray booth happen. So you would have seen, if you've been looking at spray booths and doing one yourself, there's pretty much only one option as far as extraction fans go that are under $1,000, and that's this little unit here. It's a 30 centimetre unit. 240 volt, but it's 520 watt. It moves about 63 cubic meters of air per minute. So I have no idea whether that's a lot or not, but it sounds pretty good to me. And that's the other option. So anyway, I got this for $149 at Total Tools, which I thought was a really good buy because even on eBay they're about 220 up to 260. So, and that comes with the 5 meter expandable tube. So that's just like a concertinaed spring tube, and that's where the airflow will go through. So once the booth's made, obviously I'll feed that up into a little filter box or just an opening with a piece of filter over it. And yeah, that way, you know, the fan can be away from the spray booth. Or if that doesn't draw enough, I'll swap it around the other way. So anyway, that's that. Now for the actual unit itself, for the walls itself, I've got this 200 micron builder's plastic, clear builder's plastic, which is pretty strong and durable. We just renovated the side of our house and I had this up there for 2 weeks and the place was as warm as it was with walls on it. So it's good stuff. Certainly strong enough to withstand for temporary spray booth like I'm doing. I got a 4 meter roll, so obviously it stretches out to 4 meters, and I think it was about 50 meters in total. So massive amount of builder's plastic, but I thought I'd just have it. You know, you never know when you need it, and I got that online. I can't remember the details, but I'll put it up now. So if you guys want to check it out, you can. I think from memory it's about $150 or thereabouts. So that's the concept for the spray booth, or the materials for the spray booth. So next, now that I've cleaned up, I've got to move this chassis out of the way, and so I can basically, the chassis is cutting off half the area when I want to put the plastic down. So the idea is to roll it out, push it up here further, make the booth, and that way, yeah, I can pretty much do it exactly the way I want it. So anyway, I'll set up a time lapse and we'll get into it and see how we go. So in between that, I thought I would just get something out which I haven't got out for a while, and that is the tailgate. I bought this tailgate from Rare Spares over a year ago now, so I don't think I've even opened it up. So I'm just going to do a bit of an unboxing and yeah, just rest it up against the back of the ute and see how it fits. I've had a quick look, and they look, you know, I've heard that they're a little bit thinner in their gauge metal, but they're pretty straight. So anyway, we'll unwrap it and have a look and see how it fits. Alright, so tailgate's out, and straight off the bat, looks pretty good. Yeah, they are thinner gauge, but you know, they're still pretty good for $120. What can you really expect? You can actually buy the thicker gauge ones. I think they're $180. And I'll see how this one goes. If I become really pedantic and, you know, don't think it's good enough, I'll upgrade to the other one, but I think it's going to do. So I will quickly show you the old one. I'm currently up in the mezzanine level getting this tailgate, and as you can see, all my hardwood floorboards for the house, but that's another project altogether. That's why I only get one video per month, because I'm doing a whole other project that no one knows about. Anyway, so all right, so there's the old one and there's the new one. As you can see, the old one was pretty cactus. I think I went through the tailgate on the first episode, and I don't think I've revisited it. So yeah, it had a big cavernous dent in the middle of it, and it was just caved in. After all the repairs that I've done on all the other panels, now I look at this and go, fuck, why didn't I just fix it? But look, for $120, it's not worth it. So that's why I bought the other one. So you have to take the hinges off. This one here, I think the hinges, the screws on the hinges were seized at some stage, so I didn't take them off. That one needs to come off. You got the latch there, main hinge there. I've taken one hinge off. You've got the opener there which controls those latches on the side. There is a mechanism in the middle of there you also need to get out. Same on the other side. So I'm yet to dismantle that, but all the appropriate slots and holes are in the other one. So as you can see, you can take that off and put it in there. So I don't imagine it's going to be a hard job. The finish looks pretty good. So anyway, that's enough of that. Let's quickly hold it up and see what it looks like on the ute. And that's just resting there, so hopefully it doesn't slip off. But look at that. Sitting low, but yeah, fits like a glove. So happy with that. That's the first time I've seen this shell or the ute looking like it's in its entirety again. So I'm starting to get excited now. I can see it coming together. All right, so enough of that. Let's start putting up this plastic and getting the spray booth in order so we can spray this beast. So I pretty much got most of the spray booth done. I decided to do the roof in the end because those C sections or those C channels have got a lot of dust and rat shit and all this kind of stuff, and it's just really, you're playing Russian roulette if you want to leave it there, because all you need is a bit of a gust of wind or something and it'll come down and you paint. So maybe I thought I was going to leave it for primer, but I might as well do it now while I'm going to all this effort and get it ready for the base coat as well. So once this is all sorted, it'll probably stay up there for quite a while. These side curtains, when I'm not using it, I'll probably roll up, but and just next time next car if I spray it, at least they're rolled up there and I can just roll them back down again. The roof, I'm not too sure. I'll probably end up plastering that, I reckon, eventually, making that a permanent roof. But yeah, it was a bit of a bitch to get that roof section up. I had to take the hoist off as well, and at the moment it's sort of hanging low, but I've done a test and it does still spin the ute around, so it's probably about that much at the top. So I might expose those lights for a bit more light and just cut around them and push the plastic up so it's nice and snug. But anyway, just a bit of an update. So I'm going to get back into it and do the walls, and then focus on making some kind of fan extraction box for the filtering. Alright, so now that I've got the spray booth set up, it's time to have a look at how I'm going to actually extract the fumes of the paint. So as you know, I purchased this Detroit ventilation fan, 300mm ventilation fan, and basically I'm going to use that to extract all the fumes, but I wanted it to be, this is not going to be a permanent booth, so I don't really want to just lock it in to one area, and also too, I can't just have it sitting there by itself. I need to sort of put it in some kind of box that can have some filter screens on it so that it maximises its airflow, otherwise it's coming pretty much from a very localised point, so it won't have a lot of draw. So I had to rack my brain. I came up with a bit of a solution as to why not, because it's sort of semi-permanent booth, and I might want to move things around, why don't I put it in a box that's sort of like a portable air extraction filter. So I've come up with a design. That's just a flat lay of the timber, so 7mm ply. I'll put it up now. On the screen I did a 3D mock-up of it and a quick hand drawing of what the idea is. So basically it's a metre by 445 7mm ply. I'm just going to make a box and basically sit the fan inside like that, I'll put a hole at the back, so the exhaust will come, and I'll put the extraction ducting out the back, and then I'll actually put a hole in the back of the shed and put a gravity-fed eaves vent in there so it can exhaust straight out. And so the box at the front will have both sides and the top cut out for around about 45 centimetres squares, in which I'll put the fiberglass filter underlay, and the fence, I'll put some wire behind that so that it's locked in. And then I'll put the lid on it, and yeah, that will be the box. And I've got 4 hooks, which I'll then got some cable, and I'll hang the unit from the top of the mezzanine C sections so that it's up high, so all those all the paint can be exhausted out from a higher vantage point than say down low. So, but if I did change my mind, I have the option of then putting the box on the ground. So it's pretty good how it can exhaust from left to right, and the top has the ability to be portable and hang from the ceiling or down low. So when I'm testing the booth out, I'll see which one's the best. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it works. So now I've got the timber cut up at the local hardware store, because I don't really have this good setup for accurate cuts for this kind of stuff. So it's all ready to go. I bought a little stapler gun the other day. It's super cheap auto for $20. So I'm going to give that a crack. And so I'm going to give that a crack and start putting this thing together. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get into it and build this box. Box debacle is continuing. I'll tell you what, now I know why there's a trade called cabinet making, because I've been flapping around with this thing for hours, and because it's not a skill set I'm familiar with, it's just amazing how hard it is to attach 2 hinges. Anyway, now it's up to the cabling part, so I'm going to be suspending this by some 4 cables on the top here. So basically, I've just got these little cable tie at the end. I'm going to fold it around back on itself like that, and then just secure them. You squash the cable like that, basically once they're in, and then you've got a hook. So I'm going to do 4 of those, and yeah, then I'll move on to the next thing. So it's been a couple of days since I embarked on this covering the inside of this booth with plastic. So it's in the morning at the moment, it's about 7:30. So as you know, these videos are always over the course of a few weeks for me, just because I'm renovating a house and working and just flat out. So anyway, so I've managed to get this booth done to a certain point. It's not completely sealed yet. And also I've got the air extractor finished as well. So there is there. I've got the fiberglass ordered from eBay, and I've put that in with some wire mesh that was lying around the property. Just gave it a coat of paint, just to make it look a bit better. I'm pretty happy with it. What I've done is I've suspended it with some cables, and I just put a bit of 90 by 45 timber underneath with some bolts and just some meat hooks up in the top there, which fits perfectly on the C panels. So that's just suspended there, and that way, I can sort of duck under it when I need to. It's not in the way, but it's also at a high vantage point that, it's going to get a lot of that, those particles from within the air that are above the ute there. So I'm sure you could get much better systems, but this way, not only do I have to not make anything permanent in this structure, but it also allows me to, make it portable if I need to. So if I want to put it somewhere else for another job, I can take them off and put some trolleys on it and wheel it around. And it might be good for any kind of construction. So not just paint booth. Once I paint this car, it should probably be chucked in the corner for a while. So there's no point having something sitting around not using it. And on the back, you've all seen these before. So your classic 30 centimetre outlet, which will go down, and I am going to cut one hole in the tin for this vent, and this is a vent that I bought here. I just got this off Vents online, I think it was, but they were actually through eBay. So it's just got an insect screen there and some down vents. So just push the paint particles down towards the ground. So my only thought is that it is a constantly opened valve, which may come back to haunt me, which means dust could go back the other way. But what I might do when I'm not using it, I'll just put a little bit of cardboard cut out and take that pipe off and just fit it there. So it'll be sitting there. I'll just put that in when I'm not using it. Or make something a little bit more permanent. So I'm happy with that. It fits really snug over the end there, and it's got a couple of little screw holes there, so I can just sort of attach it or rivet it on when I need to. And that will be it. So once I've done that, I really just need to concentrate on, so I've got the outlet. Now I just need to make the inlet. So I put this bit of plastic on last night, and I'm thinking this will be my access point over there. I may even extend a little bit more on the outside of here where the air compressor is, and that could be my sort of entry mixing room, and then I'll make a zip or something, and then once I've mixed the paint I can come through here and then obviously start to paint. Once again, this is going to be epoxy primer, so it's not really the end of the world if it's not a great booth at this stage, so I can just refine it for when I put the base coat on. But for now, it's just a matter of sealing this up and then getting it ready for body filler. And as we all know, that's a huge job in itself. So right now, I'm going to skip back over to here just so I can get this job done and drill the precarious hole in the side of the tin. I hate drilling holes in anything that's permanent. But this vent is going to be useful down the track, so I think it's worthy. And then I'll just silicone in. So yeah, let's get onto that and finish this thing off. Holes in. That was harder than I thought. It's bloody hard to cut a round hole into a corrugated piece of iron. Managed to get it nice and neat. And once again, I started with the jigsaw, and it was just bouncing everywhere. So I swapped to the little Kuiper blade and a little 75mm, which is perfect to fit in the grooves there, and just once again did a beautiful job. I've had that blade on for months and it's still going. And then I just cleaned it up with the little flap disc. So now I'm just going to go around the back and see if she fits in. All right, so here's from the outside. A moment of truth. I just went back inside and trimmed it up, and now it's snug as, so it's not going to get any further than that. So vents are down, so the rain can't get in. Instead, it's still got exposure to dust and things coming in. But I will make up a little piece of timber, ply or something, and when I'm not using it, I'll just plug it up. And now I'll just go and get the silicone and just fill in the holes there, and make sure it's waterproof, and then it's done. So now I'll test fit the tube over the top inside, and that's pretty much done. So just siliconed in the back of the vent. Just put a couple of screws in the ducting just to hold it there for now. I'll probably do something a little bit more structural or permanent later on, but for now that's fine. Just want to test it. Got a bit of wire up there supporting that. There's probably a little bit too much of an elbow here, which I'm not overly happy about. And obviously there's a lot of sag and extra ducting that I don't really need to, so I'll probably just, tuck that up and make it a little bit more efficient, and just have it coming down like on a 90 degree. But anyway, let's give it a test run. So here we go. I've just left it on because I can't get access to the switch in there, so I'm just going to turn it on from the power point. So once I'm finished, I will obviously cut a hole in the plastic and secure it in there. But not a huge amount of draw, but we'll give it a test later on with some smoke and see how it works. Just give it a bit of a test run here with some paint. Don't worry about the ute. We're going to have to wash it back anyway, but seems to be getting rid of it. It's not throwing it in though, that's for sure. It's not really a strong suction, but you can see that it's definitely extracting that fine mist of paint and overspray. And yeah, that's all gone now, so I consider that a success. There's a slight little dust in there, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Said it's not really drawing hard, so whether it's going to get the paint over here is another story. So I'm happy with that. I would consider that a success. There's no overspray in the air after about like 5 seconds. So obviously we've got to test with the bigger gun, but I'm standing in here with no mask and I can't smell one droplet of paint. We might be able to work at it to make it a little bit more powerful, but I think for a homemade booth, I'm going to give that the tick of approval and yeah, move forward. So let's just go out and see the vent in action. So that's venting out nicely, straight to the ground. Done. Well, about a week. I've been pretty slack on this one, but as I mentioned, I'm restoring a whole house, so it takes time. Now that this is installed, got the old little turd symbol there. Just got to basically patch all the gaps up. There's still a bit of a gap there. All the corners and the floor. So I'm just going to patch it all up, make it as tight as possible. Then I'm going to get a little hole here so I can put the vent in. And then I've got some LED strips that I'm going to strip along. I mean, obviously I've got the lights here, but I was going to get some strip lighting just on the bottom to highlight the darker areas of the underneath. So sometimes when you're spraying, it's hard to see. Yeah, it's hard to see exactly where you're spraying and how much coverage you got. So not so much a problem with the epoxy potentially, but yeah, certainly for base coat, I want to sort that out. Anyway, so yeah, let's get this duct tape on and seal this thing in. Okay, so I've taped up all the air gaps. It's not pretty, but it's reasonably airtight. That's folded down underneath in 90 degrees and then it's taped up inside. I've just created a little air inlet just with some plywood. Got the fiberglass there and I've taped it inside as well. But yeah, so this is the air intake vent in the that I've just secured in with a bit of tape. I actually run out of tape, so once I get some more I'll do the outside and the inside. So it's completely sealed, but you know, this booth isn't going to be 100% sealed. Like, I've sealed as much as possible, but you know, you're going to get a few drafts here and there. That's a bit of a mess here, unfortunately. I came up a little bit short, so I just had to fill it in with a bit of duct tape. And yeah, all the floors taped up. Engine's still there, but it's all taped up along the roof, the lights. So yeah, a lot of work, and taped up around the outlet there where it comes in. So, you know, as I said, this, and all the floors obviously taped as well. So yeah, a lot of work. And you know, it's still not perfect, but it's a homemade booth that it's going to be better than just spraying it out in the open. So the next step is to just get the LED strip lighting along here, and I'll stick it there, and then I'm done. So I'll start doing that. I'll show you the strip lighting now and what I propose, and then we'll finish it up. All right, so these are the strip packets, strip LEDs. You can actually join them. There's just 2 rolls, one power adapter, and then you've just got a little connecting unit here, power, and a remote. So if you really wanted to, you could have a party. All right, so got the LEDs connected, but it was a massive epic fail because they don't go white. Freaking Christmas lights. Unbelievable. It's what happens when you don't look at the eBay ad. Looks like I'm opening a noodle bar or something in here, so I'm going to scrap it. And yeah, epic fail. There we go. It's all all functional. Yeah, pretty happy with it. Just thought I'd be playing around with some AR. And this phone is pretty sweet, isn't it? Yeah, so pretty much that's it done, and very happy with it. So I'll just very cool. Anyway, turn it on. So there's not a lot of force happening. I mean, you probably want a good 2 of these fans, but you can see that the plastic is bulging in, which means there is some movement coming here, and I can feel that draft. I can feel it ever so slightly drawing air in, but that slight current of air will be enough to just move all those particles to this side of the room, and then they'll get trapped in that box. So yeah, I got some smoke in here the other day, and it was drawing quite well from even in the middle of the ute. We're right over, and it was gone within 20 seconds. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Proof will be in the pudding once we actually fire it up and get the big spray gun in here. But for now, yeah, that's good for me. I'm pretty happy with it. All right, so that's a wrap. Spray booth is done. Yeah, pretty happy with it. So a lot of hours, a lot of flapping around to get the booth sorted, and it'll never be a proper booth, a professional booth. So if you're going to embark on doing something like that yourself, have a good think about it. Obviously everything that I'm doing here, I've committed from the start. So that's why I'm doing it. I've sort of got a bit of a permanent space here. So I think it's for me, it's more of an experiment and doing everything myself from start to finish, and that's why I spent the effort to get this booth sorted. So yeah, we'll just see how it performs and see how the primer goes on. And then, we'll start to sand it back and then eventually start doing the base coats and panels and stuff like that. So, once again, sorry it's taken so long to get these episodes out, but it's just the way it is, there's so much going on. But the next one's going to be pretty swiftly after this one because everything's ready to go. I literally just have to go and buy the epoxy and and go and spray it on. So once again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and follow it from the first episode all the way to now, and follow the journey and see all the progress, and hopefully continue on and see this ute finished in its entirety for those that have stuck with me. Hope you enjoy the episode and get something out of it, and I'll probably see you again in a couple of weeks' time. All right, till then, see ya.